One thing that I've actually been thinking about lately is business models. I'm always interested to see what people are doing, how much they're sort of making, and I kind of feel like, knowing what I know now, and obviously it sounds biased for obvious reasons, but I kind of feel like development is quite literally one of the best business models in property. Like, you look at the guys, like the big guys in the property space, maybe they've got like a buyer's agency or something like that. Like, they work off probably, I don't know, 15 to 30% profit margins, which, you know, if they do 10 mil, they make 2.5 to 3 mil clean, which is a lot of revenue at that sort of price point to bring in. You got to bring in 10 mil to make 3 mil cash. But I think the best thing about development is, and the development space, is that you don't really have many overheads. Like, if I brought in 10 mil, like, I would make, my overheads would be less than 5% to cover and pay for all the things that I need to do my job, which for me is just absolutely crazy. And you know, for some reason, people are fixated on, firstly, that top line figure, which means SFA, until you see that bottom line figure, because, you know, you've got staff, you've got costs, you've got overheads, but also like scaling out and having like the flex of the month is like, the flex of the year is obviously who can have the most staff and all that kind of stuff. And I get it totally. It's cool, it's big, but I think the most powerful thing about development is, so not only those profit margins, but like, it is pretty basic and simple for you to have a couple of projects that are making, say, 400, 500, 600K each, to run a few of them a year and clear a few mil quite easy with a team of one. Like, I won't need, potentially next year, I might hire 1 or 2 people. Now, when you see, or when it comes out and you see who I hire, you'll probably understand why I hired them. There's a special reason behind that, but like, in development, the best part is that your whole team is kind of outsourced. So like, your architect, you pay them, they're an external consultant. Your engineer, external consultant. Landscape architect, external consultant. It's then assessed by council, who are external. It's built by a builder who's paid to do his things. It's all sort of external. So as long as you can coordinate that process, you don't need too many staff. A lot of it can be done, you know, sort of outsourced, which is the best part of, I think, the business model. And, you know, once you get to a few of those projects, you obviously need to maybe put someone on, depends how involved you want to get into it. I like the numbers, I like the stuff. I've done it for a paid job when I was earning peanuts, so when it's my own projects, I'm obviously going to be interested in it. But that's why I reckon the development business model is honestly second to none. And that's why I think if you're watching these vlogs, there's probably only 2 reasons why I'm recording and vlogging these type of projects. The first is because I know there are so many people out there, and I get your messages all the time, and we chat on Instagram DMs or comments sections about people wanting to get involved, people wanting to learn more. And there's just not a place, there's no one I found that was just like, hey, here's behind the scenes of each step of that sort of development and construction journey. No one sort of had done that to my knowledge. There might be someone out there, I just never saw it. And for me, when I was learning and coming up, always sort of, there were like parts you know, parts you don't know, but you can't sort of like, there's like a few missing sort of things to put it all together. And so I thought that by me doing and sort of vlogging this, it's going to help all you guys. Everyone that's always been interested or wants to learn a little bit more, you'll see behind the scenes, you'll learn more, you'll be more sort of up to date with the process, and you'll have a little bit of better understanding for it. And it's the vlogs that I sort of never got to see. Now I'm in a position where I've been waiting so long for it that I'm fortunate enough to be able to do it and share it with people. And that's probably goes on the second reason why I'm doing these vlogs and sharing it is because this has always been my dream. Like, it's crazy. I was saying, there's like people I talk to about it all the time. It's like, you work in development and it's probably different to a lot of other businesses, but when you handle a project from start to finish as like a development manager, what I was, you know all the costs. You run the feasibility and the program which is called Estate Master. It's kind of like a more complex Excel. It's built for developers of very complex model. That's like class 2 apartments and all that, but you know what this project is going to make. You know all the costs. So when you finish that project and you see that you've made that company, you know, 10, 15, 20, 30 million dollars, and then, you know, come performance review or end of the review time, you know, it's like there's no money there. It's like, well, hang on, I know all the numbers. And then it's like a discretionary bonus, and I don't know, I just feel like most people get stitched up, and you put in so much time and effort that it's not rewarded, especially on the developments. Like, you ran this thing from start to finish. Most projects of the size that I was working at, you know, it's 2-3 years, some even longer than that, and you just don't get rewarded for it. So I always like had that entrepreneurial spark in me where I was like, you know what, I can do this. Like this class 1A stuff that I'm doing now is so much less headache and easier. So it's kind of like, you know, getting a marathon runner to go out and run 5Ks. They go, oh, I can do this in my sleep. It's a fraction of the time, effort, energy, blah, blah, blah. That's probably what I liken it to. And, you know, the best part about it, again, low costs, no real team, no real overheads. I've just got to site, and man, they don't miss. It looks like, and you'll see it here, ready? Look what drives past. Look what drives past, concrete truck. 7:20 in the morning, and the boys have already had their first truck on site. That's hectic. That's love to see it. I wonder how many more trucks they got to go, but I can see the concrete pump. I'm so excited. This is the exciting part of it. So we're going to take you guys through, vlog a little bit of it. Hopefully the concreter doesn't think I'm a wanker with my camera. Probably will, but I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, stay tuned. Thought it would just be cool to come and document the process, but we're going to take you through a bit of behind the scenes, just a bit of B-roll shots of that pour, so that you guys can see. It's all been formed up like we had last vlog, and then yeah, they're almost done. You know, it's been just over an hour since they started, and they've almost got this slab knocked out. A massive respect to the concreters trade, because I don't know how they do this shit. It's hard, it's dirty work. Their backs must be broke by the end of doing this, but yeah, we'll show you a few behind the scenes. It's a bit noisy, so what typically happens on most sites is that we have a concrete pump and a concrete truck. The concrete truck brings the concrete here, is poured into the concrete pump, which is fed up this long hose and this big arm that stretches into site. Now, the reason that we do that, on the rear of the concrete truck, there's only a really small arm that allows you to spread the concrete. So having the pump allows us to reach over site and be able to drop that concrete all around the slab. So instead of, you know, it coming off a small arm, the boys need to use a wheelbarrow or something like that. What we do is we use that concrete pump. It allows the boys to feed wherever they want on site. So that's typically what happens. The concrete pump pumps it then into site. You've got a controller on the ground that has a remote that then controls when the concrete starts and when the concrete stops. So the boys on site can then sort of feed the concrete around accordingly and turn it off if there's too much concrete or they've got enough. So that's basically behind the scenes, and that's what's happening out the front. It's a bit noisy at the moment, but the boys are almost done, but thought we'd just show you guys behind the scenes of that. So concrete pour, concrete pump, concrete truck, all going smoothly and according to plan. The boys now are just stripping off the formwork, so the formwork is sort of
what holds the concrete in place when they pour it. Then obviously think of it like a bit of a cast. Then once the concrete sets, they get rid of the timber, so it's just the concrete there. So boys are doing that now, just finishing off some of the edges and some of the tidying up as that concrete starts to set. And then, yeah, no doubt we'll be done pretty soon, cleaning up, packing away stuff, finished with the service on the concrete pumps. It was over before we knew it. Unfortunately, it wasn't a full day of content. It was just a quick little half day, but yeah, excited to bring you guys the next step. Lucky to get this one in before Chrissy, and then I have to talk to the builder to see when the frames are delivered and we start to build into next year. But like I've said previously, the most important part was getting this done, because if we didn't do this before Chrissy, then we'd be delayed. We'd have to pour mid-January, which holds all our deliveries up. So the fact that we've got this now, and then we can get the frames delivered to site at any time when they're finished, bricks, all those sorts of things. You know, even if there's a few of the tradies that want to, a few of the chippies that want to work over Christmas, you know, we can have those guys on site working away. Whereas if we didn't have the slab poured, they wouldn't be able to. So huge relief to get this one done and poured before Christmas. And yeah, stay tuned for next week's update.
Back in the office after the pour today. Man, it is so exciting to see it all comes together. That once you sort of get out of the ground, obviously there's no basement, so it's a bit easier, but for all those other projects, I think once you get out the ground and pour that basement slab, you know, that's when it's game on. You can start moving pretty quickly. Excited to see it take off, especially next year, you know, frames up and starting to see the walls take shape and that second story on the first one. But for those of you that watched, hope, you know, there's a bit of insight there. You learned a bit or just saw a little bit of behind the scenes, because you probably won't be there for, you know, throughout a pour, unless it's your own. If you're driving past, you might see a little snippet, but you won't see too much detail. I hope everyone else enjoyed that, because I certainly did. And yeah, if you want to see any particular parts of the construction process that I should let you guys know, or that you don't really know about, let me know. I'm trying to sort of stage a video for each part of each sequence that I see that is fit, important, that there is sort of value on, and then sort of showing how I do things. Now, obviously, you know, I'm not always 100% right. There's people that I'm sure do things better. I'm always learning too. I think each project you have lessons that you learn, definitely with this one already. But you learn, you grow, and then you take that into the next project. And each project is like a refinement of being better and better and better at what you do. That's the goal. So, but yeah, that wraps up another one of the vlogs for the site tours, concrete pour. Super excited by it. And I'll see you guys for the next one, frames.